Hi, everybody. This is my friend Gene, and this is his 1950 Pontiac Chieftain. It is a beauty. This car also reminds me of one of my favorite card sets of all times, the 1954 Topps World on Wheels cards. So we're going to take a spin now, and when we get back, I'll talk about the World on Wheels and several of the other classic car card sets. So everybody, fasten your seatbelts, and I'll do the same. Oh, wait a minute, I can't. They didn't have seatbelts back then. All right, everybody, we'll see you soon. Hi, everybody. Now that I'm back from taking a spin with my friend Gene in his absolutely beautiful 1950 Pontiac Chieftain, I'm ready to look at some car cards. Now, rather than doing just one set in very close detail this time, I thought what I'd do is my top 10 favorite car card sets. That's kind of hard to say. So I'll do just one or two cards for each one of these. And if you'd like additional information about some of these sets, let me know. And possibly I'll do a whole episode about one of the sets later on. All right, so we begin now with what most people consider the granddaddy of the modern golden era of Nonsport card sets. And it's the 1955 Topps World on Wheels cards. Now I want to give a quick shout out to my friend Bill C. for helping me get cards to complete this set. This set is absolutely fabulous. Now the set basically goes from the earliest days of automobiles up to 1955, and it shows the full range in between. But these cards are really quite striking. All right, see, the fronts are incredibly colorful, and then the backs have very detailed descriptions of the cars, a little bit of their history and a little bit of their evolution. But they're beautiful. Here's a brush. Many of you maybe have not even heard of this set. It's great for learning the history of automobiles. How about a Peerless? And then we get to some of the more modern ones that we coveted when I was a kid. How about a Maserati? Doesn't get any better for an Italian sports car than that at the time. Or how about the Cunningham? This was an American sports car. Many don't know about it, but it has a very important part in the history of our cars. How about the Hudson, which was typically a family car, but in this case, it was made of all aluminum. This was an experimental version, and it didn't work. And then the Dream Car, this is what the cars of the future were supposed to look like. Well, I don't know about you, but I haven't owned any like this. All right, so that's the World on Wheels set, and I adore these. All right, next on our list is a 1961 Topps sports cars. This is flat out beautiful, and the cards are inexpensive. All right, this is what they look like. They're oblong, they're a little bit different shaped. This is the Maserati, but look at the rich colors of these cards. They're gorgeous. Here's the Porsche. I love that card. I think it's just really beautiful. Here's the Jaguar, or as our friends across the pond call it, the Jaguar. And then how about a Ferrari? Beautiful color. Take a look at that. Wish I had one of those. And Aston Martin. Thank you, James Bond. These are beautiful cards. The backs are very informative and laid out very well with interesting illustrations. These cards typically go for about $5 a piece. They're very, very inexpensive. All right, now let's go to one that is very expensive. This is one of my all-time favorite card sets, but they're scarce as hen's teeth. This is the 1910 Hassan Auto Drivers. Now, these were basically the drivers who were considered athletes still at the time because travel by car was still relatively new. But most of the car cards in this set showed the cars and the drivers behind the wheel. Look at the color, absolutely striking. This one I love. For the races, they usually had a compadre next to them to help them out with metering the gasoline and things like that. And the backs of the cards also had great descriptions of the people and where they did their races, their endurance drives. That was a big thing to drive for a long time back then. And the colors are incredibly striking here. Now, these cards are not cheap. One like this in this condition would typically go for about $250. The biggie in the set is Lewis Chevrolet, and I've seen that card go for over $1,000. So these are difficult to find. I did a real quick search on the internet today to see if I could find a few of these to get updated prices. None were there. They are that scarce. So take a look for these just to see if you can find them. All right, next on the list is another of my favorites. The Bowman, 1953 Bowman Antique Autos. This is the Knox. These were done from drawings, from paintings, and they're breathtaking. These are just gorgeous carts. So this is the Knox. This is the Dietrich. That's actually what it was called. But the interesting thing about these cards is they have a 3D back. They came out at the height of the real craze for 3D movies and such in the 1950s. And you were given a pair of 3D glasses with packs of these cards so you could see the images. I wish I had pulled mine out. I don't know if I could have showed you what they were like. I would have looked goofy. But these are fun. These are really a hoot to look at the images on the back, which are incredibly striking. All right, next on my all-time favorite list is the 1970 Topps Way Out Wheels cards. These are postcard sized. This one here was actually built for the Dragnet television show, with Jack Webb. A bunch of teenage punks terrorized a town with this until they were finally captured by Friday and Gannett. The backs of these cards are very informative, have really cool illustrations on them. Here's another one, the Beauty, which is based off of a Model T, so they can make a roadster out of it. Look at the striking color, though. The AMX 400, they used a lot of modern cars in here, too, and hopped them up so they look great. My friends and I love these because we all had jalopies that we kept running by going to junkyards. We always dreamed of having cars like this, but we were car crazy. Many of you will remember this, the Monster Dragula. This was Grandpa's car on the Munsters TV show and in the movies that they did. So these cards are absolutely a hoot. Now next, let's go to a rarity here. The 1966 Hot Rod Magazine spec sheet cards. I'm just going to show you this one because they're all basically the same here. I love my set. These were issued in Hot Rod Magazine, so you had to buy the magazine to get them. And there were typically about a half a dozen of these in each issue, but you had to tear them out. Now, these are regular cardstock, so they're really nice cards, but a lot of them have rips and tears because of people getting them out of the magazines. They are scarce as hen's teeth today. But if you're ever at a flea market, take a look at old magazines and see if you see some Hot Rod magazines from 1966. You might come across a jackpot here. All right, next on the list, and these are just great. 1976 Wonder Bread. They call them crazy cards, but the reason I'm a little confused is sometimes you could get these at Chevrolet dealers in that same year, but they were takeoffs of actual cars of the time. This one here is the Monkey Carlo, a takeoff on the Monte Carlo. Look at that, isn't that great? And the backs have these wonderful descriptions and illustrations with them. This is the Mustang instead of the Mustang. Isn't that great? All right, this is the Toyota. Rather than a Toyota, this is the Aqua car. That's pretty cool. This is the Ich Anno line. And the thing that's really interesting about these cards is on the back there's a joke. And on the back of this card, the joke is, why did the car think it was going to the doctor's office? And to get the answer, you literally have to hold it up to a mirror to read it on the back. Seriously, it says it, hold up to mirror. And the answer to this particular joke is because the car was going to get a fuel injection. Yeah, pretty bad, pretty bad. All right, next on the list here, and I love these too, the 1975 Donruss trucking cards. Fixing up vans at that time was a very popular thing to do. One of my best friends, Ron B., had an absolutely awesome one of these back in the day. I bet he wished he still had it now. But look at the colors on there, the psychedelic colors. Here's a neat one here. Take a look at the bell bottoms on that woman standing next to it. This is a real reflection of the era. Here's another one. The paintings were very dramatic on them. My dad called these disease wagons because he said, oh, just a bunch of nasty hippies drive around in those things. And they even did some regular trucks as well that were customized. So those are really, really nice. All right, next on the list is another really, really rare one. The 1916 Will Cigarettes Military Motors. These are scarce as hen's teeth. They're beautiful, they're rich colors. This one here is of a mobile ambulance, which this is significant because these cards came out the year before World War I went into full bloom. So it describes these in the context of a World War conflict. This one is a military bus. And it says on the back it was used to haul sheep to the front lines so that soldiers could have fresh meat. I think that's bad. And then this one here is another of the MASH kind of vehicles. It's a mobile surgical hospital where they could do the surgeries in the back. So these are absolutely breathtaking cards, but they're incredibly rare. They're tough to find. Now we get to one of the most beautiful of all time here. This is the 1938 Wills set called Speed. And these were the vehicles that were the fastest vehicles of their era. Now I know because of the lighting here, it's a little bit hard to see here, but I'll sort of pan up so you can get an idea what's going on. This right here is the Thunderbolt. It held the world land speed record at that time at the Bonneville Salt Flats. And that really wasn't all that fast compared to today's standards. All right, so we go all the way from the World on Wheels cards all the way up to the very end here with the speed cards. I like them all. These are just a few of the sets that I have that are related to cars. I've always been car crazy, and I imagine a lot of you are as well. So if you'd like to know more about any of these sets, just let me know. Otherwise, please, if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe. And if you haven't yet, go to therappermagazine.com and get a copy of the Rapper Magazine, your free copy, the premier magazine for those who collect non-sport cards. All right, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed our look at cars. I think I'll go out and go for a ride on my 1945 Farmall H tractor because my world is definitely on wheels. See you next time.